All right. So this is Mwosa from digital.com. I'm coming with you with a solo episode today for this podcast, and I will be labeling this podcast the marketplace. Um, it's very important to just dive into where the world is headed at this present moment, and for us to really get a good idea as to how the creator is going to become more powerful in this time. And I strongly do believe that. Um, but I don't think it's just limiting yourself to understanding yourself as a musical artist, but just in general, the power that comes from the person in which you are, and then the battles that are going on to try to rip that away from you. At least you know that understanding of your power. So, just to dive into it, as we get into it truly, what is it to understand the marketplace? Well, first and foremost, we see because of the pandemic that's currently going on, a lot of the mandates, a lot of people are losing their jobs, and a lot of people have felt to the pressure of needing to receive 2 doses in order to maintain their job or maintain their work. Um, there's pressure on both sides. There's pressure from both sides as to why one should follow the guidelines and follow the mandates. And there's pressure for those that do not want to follow the mandates. In this sense, a lot of people are not even taking 2 doses for their own safety and their own health, but because they are being limited freedoms. The freedoms that they have or once were accustomed to are being taken from them. And this is what we see here. And this is really just truly a power grab, truth be told. It's less about keeping people safe and making sure that, people can live healthy lives. And it's more about bankrupting the middle class. Now, why would I label this episode the marketplace? When I think of the marketplace, I think of bartering. I think of trade. I think of mercantilism. I think of us going back into a day and an age in which we are going to have to remember the power we had and the resources we have and how we can bargain in order to get by. So the advent and the increase of e-commerce in these last couple of days has started showing us that any of us can start our own business or brand for supplemental income. For a lot of us now moving into this future, this would be the only way that we're going to be able to make a living or make money or contribute any value in order to achieve and purchase the things in which we need to. So diving into this, the world is going to become a marketplace. Truly. We see this with the advent of cryptocurrency that people they can live, they can live adjacent to the US dollar. A lot of tech nerds are no longer using the US dollar. Many countries have stopped using the US dollar. And so we see that the US dollar will no longer be the global currency of the world, but we can anticipate that it'll be some kind of crypto token. Do we know if it's Bitcoin? We're not sure. But right now, Bitcoin is the number one candidate. It's far ahead of any others. It has a way more blockchain support, a lot of communities built around it, and a lot of Fortune 500 companies that are already investing in it, as well as other nations, with El Salvador actually making Bitcoin a national currency. So why is this important to you as a creator. Well, really, why wouldn't it be? Our entire lives as upcoming artists, we've always been waiting for people to acknowledge our art so much and put a value on it in which we would hope is higher than the one that we were currently at when we started. You know, this is why people chase record deals. This is why people make the most fantastic art they can, if you're an artist or a painter, because we're hoping that somebody will give us the value in which we demand. But in this upcoming time in the marketplace, I truly believe that we're going into a time where we will have to set our own value. And when we set our own value, we have to make sure that whatever art we're putting out there into the world is so demanded that they will pay whatever price that we ask for it. It's no longer for the creator to be dependent on the higher ups. But what I would love to see is for the higher ups to be dependent on the creators. But that already exists. They just make us believe that's not the case. But how can we believe it ourselves? That's to understand the landscape that we're going into. This landscape that we're moving into is one where technology is going to be the backbone of everything that happens and everything that exists. We see that the independent artists stopped needing the record labels once they realized that they could personally connect to potential fans, really customers or leads through social media. Now, instead of the record label breaking the artist, they take an artist who's already gotten the reach and got the fan base and tries to monetize them. Do we need the record labels? Of course not. We don't need the record labels, but the record labels will make you believe that we do need them. That's only because many of us don't have the structure or the engine in which they have to captivate off of our own talents. But that time is changing. We see that with cryptocurrency. We definitely see it with the NFTs, that you can create a piece of art on a blockchain, have somebody pay the price and you ask that you ask for it in hopes that they recognize for themselves that this would be a value that they cannot miss out on. So once you've already been paid what you've asked for, every time that they want to resell or someone wants to rechange that, change hands of that art, you also get a percentage. So let me give you an example of what that looks like. What that looks like is if you sold your piece of art for 1 Bitcoin, if just an example, if you sold your art for 1 Bitcoin, somebody sees it and says, hey, I can resell that for 2 Bitcoins, but you can ask for 20% of that resale and every other subsequent resale after that. That's powerful, because that means you as the creator will get paid for life because you created it. So it's no longer the mechanical aspects of living that will receive the benefits, but it's the creative, right? The laborers who do the physical labor are no longer being compensated the way they were, because the creators are the ones that are benefiting now. It's the creators. What that means, it means that we are in an atmosphere for you to use your mind to capitalize off of everything coming in. The creator is getting paid more money. The content creator, we see it on YouTube, monetization, everything is happening to allow creators to make more money. most platforms are moving into paying the creators because they realize, hey, if you're not creating, we're not growing. But now you don't even have the engine to negotiate what it is that you would like to be paid. If you are growing into a multi-billion-dollar company because of the content I'm creating, whether it's a piece of music, a piece of art, a TikTok, a video, whatever it is, I should be getting compensated. I shouldn't be struggling. I shouldn't be a struggling artist. But now, because content and art and creation is being overconsumed, it's now undervalued. One piece of content can change someone's entire perspective on life. That's more powerful than what we can calculate numerically. It's almost impossible. Yet, they calculate numerically what it's worth, which has always been my problem with how we calculate streams. To pay me a percentage of a penny or every time somebody plays a song that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into, and for a lot of us, a lot of studio time, which adds up. Why aren't we being paid what we deserve as we see the rich are decimating the middle class and people are growing more poor and poor and poor and poor? But the billionaires are getting richer. And the only thing I see different that the billionaires are doing is they're selling us dreams. They're selling us dreams. They're not creating. They may implement, but they're not creating. They're not bringing things into existence. They're just taking things that have already existed, like the need for us to socially connect with each other, and upholding it, saying, hey, at any moment I can take you off this platform and you'll no longer be able to monetize off of the things that you create. So the social media CEOs are becoming gods to us. We've seen Instagram and Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram go down for a couple hours. A lot of people weren't able to upload the content, but it's really because we were not able to connect with each other. Now, let's say that had gone on for a week. Facebook would have lost a lot of money, but a lot of people that are dependent on these platforms, how much of a hit would they have taken? Now, if it goes on for a month, 6 months, a year, 2 years, many businesses would be out of business. Many social media digital marketers would be out of a job. So when are we going to realize that in this marketplace, we are the ones that have the power? If I am a merchant and I am selling pounds of salt, whatever I have to offer you is salt. And to me, I'm offering the salt because I don't need it as much. But I do need some chickens. If you can offer me chickens because I need to eat chicken and you need to preserve or flavor the chickens you already have, that's how we make trade. This is why we call it a marketplace. But what we have allowed is for other men with more resources to dictate the terms of our value and say to you, hey, you don't need that much salt for that much chickens. This is what we think is appropriate for you, and we'll take the rest. The most important thing you can do in this time is to familiarize yourself with the technology and the atmosphere in which we are going into. Recognize that you are the one that holds all of the power. And power is given to men by God, not by men.